Hello there, Appsmith community. I'm thrilled to welcome you to the October Release Jam. I'm Kevin Blanco, your host for today's exciting journey through the latest and greatest updates to the Appsmith platform. Believe me, you are in for a treat. Let me tell you, I've been counting down the days to share this with you all that the Appsmith team has been working tirelessly, and we've got some phenomenal features and improvements to showcase. So buckle up and let's get started. But I have a reminder to make. Right now we are in the middle of Hacktoberfest. Remember, this is a month-long celebration of open source. It's an amazing opportunity for you to get involved, contribute to open source project, and yes, win some fantastic prizes. Just head over to hacktoberfest.appsmith.com and join the action. Trust me, it is an opportunity and experience you don't want to miss. And we have something big coming up for businesses and enterprises. Join us next week for the Appsmith Innovate Conference. It's where the innovation meets enterprise level solutions. And you wouldn't want to miss it. Sign up free at events.appsmith.com. Now, let's dive into the incredible features we have lined up for you in the October Release Jam. First, we got something that's been highly requested by our incredible community. Introducing ESM Javascript build support. That's right. Until now, Appsmith supported UMD builds of JavaScript libraries, which sometimes made a bit of a compatibility puzzle for our users. But not anymore. For businesses and enterprises, time to market is key. With ESM builds, your development teams can seamlessly integrate the latest JavaScript libraries, streamlining the development processes. It's all about efficiency, and Appsmith has your back. If you want to know more about what the differences between all JavaScript module types are, we've prepared an in-depth technical article in our community portal. You will find the link in the description. But that's not all. We have another star feature going to you and changing the way you build in Appsmith. Behold the power of AI in your Appsmith journey. AI-powered contextual prompts aren't just a convenience, they are a productivity boost for your development teams. Imagine reducing development cycles, improving code quality, and ensuring that your application aligns perfectly with your business objectives. It's like having a team of coding experts at your disposal 24/7. For businesses and enterprise, it is a game changer. These two features alone are incredibly exciting, and I can't wait to show you how they work in action. So let's jump into it. Alright, here I am at Appsmith, and I have this empty application to show you the power of contextual AI. I want to display a list of events, and I have a Postgres database already connected. I need to write a new database query to pull the event data. But let's say I have zero knowledge around SQL syntax. That's totally fine. Let's create a new database query, which we are going to call get events. And here we can see the first example of contextual AI prompts. By just typing /AI, we will see this feature. So we click it and we're going to see a way to ask for what we need. We can also see recent prompts, but here I'm going to just create a new prompt. I'm going to ask to get all the events from the events table. And also I want to order these events. I'm going to be using the date field for ordering, and I know that the database field name is date_time. So I'm going to tell it to order ascendantly by that value. And when we're done, we're going to hit enter, and Appsmith AI is going to scan our database and generate a valuable prompt AI. After it's done, we will see that it's automatically putted, and we can say this is an incorrect response to give feedback. But if it looks good, we can use this and we can give it a shot. We can say that basically it's looking pretty good. So if we click run, we will actually see the data results. We see that we have the title of the events, the duration, the location, description, type, and even the host. So this is looking pretty good. By just that, AI generated an SQL query for me. Now I'm going to do the same, but in the UI. I want to display the upcoming events list. So I'm going to drag and drop a new title, and I'm going to name it upcoming events, and I'm going to use the styling to make it bigger and look really nice. I'm going to drag and drop a list component because I want to display the events in a list card format. But I don't know how to bind the data from the database into the UI. That's totally fine. Here we can also use the AI feature. And again, this is contextual. It means that it's going to understand our queries, the name of our JavaScript objects, etc. So I'm going to ask to display the events from the get events and see how it auto-completes. It understands that there is a get events query, so it auto-completes the things that I have. And just by that, it's going to bind the data from the database query into the UI. And indeed, we have 3 events and it's showing 3 elements. All we have to do now is just bind the different fields that I want to display from the query into the UI. Let's start with the picture. I know that there is a picture for each of the events, and now I can see that the picture name is actually picture. So I'm going to use that just to display the name of the image. In this case, I'm going to change from EMG to picture, and there you go. Now the images of the events are displaying. So I'm going to do the same with the other fields. I want to display the title, the date of the event, who the host is, and more information about the events, like the description or the location. Let me do the same with the date here. By just typing date, we can see the autocomplete, and there you go. Now we are showing for all of the events on the list the date of the event. But I just noticed that this date over here, it's actually not readable for the end user to understand. So I'm going to change it to something more readable. But again, my JavaScript capabilities are really low, to be honest. So I'm going to use the AI feature here as well. I'm just type /AI. And I'm going to say, can you format this bind, which is the date field, to something more readable? And by just doing that, Appsmith AI is going to understand the binding that we have, which is a date, and basically format the date in a more readable way. So now we can see the actual date, which is easier to understand for the end user. And there you go. That's another example of how the contextual power of AI can be used within your Appsmith application. Now I'm going to continue dragging and dropping more fields and binding that to a specific data fields from the database to showcase more data. Here I'm making more room in my list to display the description of the event. And again, all I have to do is, now that I learn how to do it, current item dot the name of the field, in this case the description. And there you go. Now we are showing the description of each of the events. I can rearrange things so that I make sure that all of the data is displaying correctly for all of the events in the list. And there you go. I can continue doing this. For example, for the host, I'm going to drag and drop a new field and I can resize the different values so I can put data where I think it fit the best. Here I'm dragging a new text field to showcase the host, and I can type host and then the binding, which again, AI showed me how to do it, and it's current item dot the name of the field, in this case, the host. And there you go. That's all I have to do. I just created an application which is displaying upcoming events, querying from the database, having custom logic and custom binding, and also even formatting the data, and I didn't write any single piece of code. Everything was done by the contextual power of AI within Appsmith. Now we can deploy this application, and indeed, we are now seeing a list of upcoming events. And that's it. That's how you can get the power of contextual AI within Appsmith. Now let's jump to the second example about ESM JavaScript libraries. If we see in the left menu, we will see a libraries section. There we have some libraries that we know you're gonna use, like Lodash, Moment, XML Parser, etc. But you can add custom JavaScript libraries. All you need to do is to know the URL of the GSDeliver library. We also recommend you some libraries that we know a lot of users use. For example, GS to PDF to create PDFs, or some third-party SDKs that normally our users use. I'm going to go to GSDeliver and find a JavaScript library that works for me, because I want to create calendar links for each of the events in the calendar. And here we have this one. This is a ESM JavaScript library. So this is the one that I'm going to use for this example. All I have to do is just copy the URL of the library and go back to Appsmith and install this library. What Appsmith is going to do is register this library and make it available for us so we can use it, for example, on custom logic or a JavaScript object or different other places. And there you go. Calendar link is now available. and we can even see the size of the library. Now let's create a new JavaScript object, and here is where we are going to write a piece of JavaScript to basically create a new calendar link. All I have to do is just go back to the documentation of the library and see what structure data I need to create. I see that I have to create a title, description, a start date, and duration. That's the basic to create a new calendar event. And then I can pass along that information to the Google, Outlook, or Office 365 to create a new calendar event. So I'm going to create a new function called calendar link. And here I'm just going to paste the object that we saw as the return value. So I'm going to say return, and then I'm going to call the calendar link library we just imported. As we see, the name is calendar link, so all we have to do is put the name, and Appsmith will autocomplete the different functions, in this case the Google function. We paste the values from the JavaScript library documentation, and now all we have to do is put these parameters on the function so we can use those parameters to create automatically the JavaScript library. So in this case, I'm going to pass the title, the description, and the start, and also the duration, which is the values that this function requires to create a new calendar link. All I have to do is replace the values from the actual parameters that I'm passing to the function. And that's it. It looks pretty good. No errors are being shown, no debugging aids, everything is looking great. Now all we have to do is put a name on this function. I'm going to call it calendar. So that way we can call this calendar link referencing the calendar JavaScript object we just created. Now let me drag a new icon button. This is the button that the users are going to click to add the event to the calendar. So I'm going to find the calendar icon just like that, super easy, and create a new click option or a new click event. In this case, I'm not going to call the function. I'm actually going to select the navigate option because I want users to navigate to a different page, and I want to do it on a new window. And here all I have to do is just call the function we created, which name is calendar.calendarLink. Again, Appsmith will autocomplete everything for us, and all we have to do is paste the parameters that the function is expecting. I'm going to call current item.title, current item.description, current item.datetime, and current item.duration. So what I'm doing here is grabbing the values from the element that the user clicked, which is current item, and passing the title, the description, the date, and the duration. So that way, when somebody clicks the icon button, it's going to call the JavaScript function, generate the calendar link, and take the user to that specific URL. Let's deploy and test it out. I'm going to click the icon here, the button icon, and there you go. It goes to the calendar event, and there you go. Pilates for Life, that's the name of this event, and it's only a 1-hour event. That's all I had to do to make this happen. And also we can see even the description. And let's test it out with another one. In this case, functional training. And again, this is an event only happening during 1 hour, October 19. I see the description. So this is working as expected. It's passing the parameters correctly and is using the ESM Javascript library that we took from GSDeliver. One last thing over here, I just noticed that I'm showing events that already happened. So I'm going to again use the power of AI to say, can you display the events from the get events, which is what we did before, but I want to filter only those that have not yet happened. And how do I know that? Well, it's going to use the today's date. So that way, always I'm going to show the events that have not happened yet. And I'm going to disregard those events that already happened. So by just telling this to the contextual AI feature, is now going to filter, is going to generate the custom logic and filter those events that are basically already happened. And now I'm only showing 2 events. We were previously showing 3 events. And that's because one of the events already happened. And there you go. We just built a complete featured application that pulls data from a database, it displays on a list, it has custom logic, custom filters, and a calendar link generation. All of this with the power of contextual AI and also using ESM JavaScript library support, which is something new in Appsmith. I'd love you to try these new features and let us know what you think. They are generally available to all users. Before we wrap up, I want to take a special moment to express our gratitude to the Appsmith community. Your feedback, passion, and dedication have driven us to continuously innovate and improve the platform. This release is a testament to our commitment to making Appsmith the best local platform out there. And remember, Hacktoberfest is in full swing. Don't miss the opportunity to contribute to open source, learn, and with fantastic prizes. Until the next one.